Greetings everyone and welcome to Charles Plays Things. In this particular video we're going to be discussing a particular happening that just went down today. Alison Rapp, formerly of Nintendo America, was let go from her position. If you are not well informed on that particular situation, a particular group of people placed Alison under the crosshairs because of censorship in a lot of Nintendo's localization efforts. I'm honestly not sure how she became the target in this particular instance. I need to do a little bit of reading on that, but from my understanding, and from her words, she had nothing to do with the localization process. But there's been a good many months of harassment going down and blah, blah, blah. It's really fucked up that she lost her job because a group of people decided to place her under the crosshairs. Like, a lot of people probably going to shit on Nintendo for this. In this particular instance, it may have been the best call for them to sever their ties with her, or maybe not. Honestly, it's hard. That's a hard line to kind of teeter upon, because you know, the more optimistic side of me wants it to be a better world where Nintendo stands behind her and just continues on about their merry way. It maybe just because I wasn't particularly focused on these happenings with Alison, Nintendo, and whomever was involved, but I thought that it kind of died out. I didn't realize that there still needed to be something done on the part of Nintendo or whatever between them and Alison. So if you check her Twitter account, you'll see that yes, there were a lot of things going on behind the scenes, and you know, her family, they kind of feared for their safety, feared for her safety, which it's absolutely ridiculous that that's a thing that has to be taken into account once you reach a certain level of notoriety in the video game industry. If you don't know me, I've kind of been of a more nuanced position when it comes to the Gamergate versus anti-Gamergate discourse or whatever, because I've had decent conversations with people on both sides, and I also hate labeling the entirety of a group off of individual events. I felt like there were definitely people that had points to make in this thing, but it's gone way left, and it's become a platform for certain people to spread a bit of poison. Because from my perspective, this whole censorship thing, I mean, we know a lot of people do not even understand the changes that happen in localization. They also don't understand that these are not new things. This is not something that popped up when Gamergate became a buzzword. There were always changes when games were going from Japan to here. There's a difference in cultures, so those things are expected. Any adult would understand that. Any adult willing to understand that would understand it. This is stupid, and I see not only people that I am detached from talking about this. It's not just people that are popping up on the internet, that are just random blah 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 blah. There are people that I interact with on a regular basis, for the most part, professionally and casually, that share this complete anti-censorship while hanging their hat on freedom of speech, which they don't fully grasp, they don't have a complete understanding of. And I mean, they're so gung-ho about it without any regards to how things work, the people behind these things, and how it affects them. And I mean, that's even getting off track with this particular video, because Alison Rapp didn't have shit to do with it. But let's say, for instance, they did target someone that does do that is in control of the localization efforts. What do you gain? There's so many ways to attack this bullshit, and it's very frustrating, because it's like, we're in a mod culture. Anything you want in a game can be had and put together. And I mean, I'd be really interested in seeing the numbers of people that say, like the Street Fighter has a nudity mod now. I'd be really interested to see that number of the people that will download that versus the sales, and how those things differ from one another. I'd be really curious to see how that works. I'd be really curious to see how many people download a mod in a particular game where something was changed that came over from Japan, where a person was more scantily clad. And I want to know how many of those people that are so passionately against censorship go out and download those mods, which tend to be free. What is the point? What is there to gain? It's pathetic and childish that these types of changes are what steer and motivate certain people to do so much that a person ends up losing their job over it. There are a lot of people that are going to take this as a victory of some sort, and that bothers me even more. What do people think there is to gain by eliminating these changes that happen during the localization process? And also, I'd like to throw out there, when you tell me these particular things, be sure to do your research and understand that things are very, very different in the US versus Japan and any other country for the most part. But in this instance, just to simplify it, just talk about this particular thing. Do your research, because things are very different. How characters are used is very different. How they're dressed is very different. How certain things are acceptable, very different. And the demographics between who consumes what in video games, cartoons, anime, all of that is also very different between Japan and the United States. But I don't believe any of the people that hop on their horses for these particular causes actually acknowledge or understand any of that, and I don't think that they care to do that, to do the research or to understand these types of things. And even some of the more, I guess I could say, rational people that are anti-censorship, those same people also don't give a shit about the different age groups that have access to this content. I don't even know where I was hoping to end up with this particular video. I'd like for everyone to hit the comment section and share your thoughts. Try not to be too much of a shitbag down there. I do know it's gonna get out of hand with some people, most likely. Not here on my video. I don't have that much of a following, but in other places, I know it's gonna get out of hand. I mean, that's why we're here in the first place. A person lost their job because people decided to troll and completely shit on a person's existence until they lost their job. But yeah, hit the comment section and let me know your thoughts. Catch you later.